So I'd like to welcome you to the second installment in this how-to YouTube video series of how to use GarageBand to create professional sounding hip-hop tracks. This video is designed to give you a quick overview of how to create your drum pattern. I do show in this video kind of a sneak peek of what's going to be in the next video, which is how to build a drum library. I'm going to bring in a track from a new Jay-Z song off his new album, and I'm going to pull off a sample of a bass drum and snare drum, and then I'm going to use those in the drum pattern. I do apologize to those of you who are new at creating hip-hop music or are new at using GarageBand, because this video is quick. We only have 10 minutes to go through it, the whole process of creating the track, and this is mainly geared towards people who already know how to use GarageBand and who already know how to structure songs, and who have already seen my last video and kind of get an understanding of how to do sampling. So let's get started. What I'm going to show you in this video is first I'm just going to build a quick little drum kit, and then I'm going to show you how to create the drum pattern or the drum line or whatever you want to say that will give you the core basis of the track. So as this is kind of a prequel to the video that will show you how to build drum libraries, I'll quickly show you how you can sample to create professional drum sounds within your GarageBand. So the first thing I did is I brought in a clip from the beginning of Jay-Z's new track with Alicia Keys, Empire State of Mind. I'll play that quick. Alright, so I see in that and I hear in that some nice bass drum and snare drum that are completely unaccompanied by any other instrument. If you get it and it has another instrument in the background, it's not going to work, because then it's going to layer over the instrument that you want and it's not going to sound right. So I believe that I just cut up a snare and a bass. We'll see what we get. So alright, so right there it sounds like we got a couple snare drums and a couple bass drums. You want to cut these really close. You want to get in real tight so that you're getting the very beginning of the sound wave, and you want to clip it off right at the end, because there's a lot of other sounds that come after, like the hi-hat and whatnot. I usually don't sample hi-hats because for me it's difficult to get the hi-hat sound to come out right when I sample it. So okay, we got 4 sounds right there. So I'm going to bring up my first track, which is where I'm going to want to put these, which is Applause Laughter, which I showed in the last clip how you want to bring up the instrument from a sound effect instrument bass, and you're going to want to take the sound and you're going to want to drag and drop it. Drag and drop it, I mean. So I'm dragging and dropping the bass drums and the snare drums I just took into my musical typing. And then now you'll see I'm going to mute this track, and I'm just going to play this track where I just put it. So now you see I have bass drum, snare drum that I just sampled, and here's the way it sounds when I put it down. I had laid down this track. Alright, you might notice that there's a little difference in the way that the sample sounds straight and the way that it sounds when I laid it down on the track, and that's because when I put the track down, I went and I put a few effects on it. I put the compressor, I put the distortion on it, and that helps it give it kind of a more full sound to it. So now we have a bass drum and snare drum just by themselves. So the next thing I wanted to do is put a hi-hat behind it. So I went down here, I don't even know what we call this thing in GarageBand, the view, hide, the loop browser. Open this up, click on all drums. When you click on all drums, this whole list of different loops that come with GarageBand pops up. I click on 80s pop beat 09 and I drag and drop it to where I want the hi-hat to go. Now you get this long track, and this is what it's going to sound like when you just drop it in. Okay, so you see it's really corny and the sounds are really bad, but all we want is the hi-hat, because the hi-hat actually sounds okay. So what I'm going to do now is just reduce it to 2 bars, and I'm going to go into that track itself, and I'm going to erase the bass drum and snare drum, and I'm just going to keep the hi-hat. So there's the bass drum and snare drum. I'm erasing that. Now you see all I have is the hi-hat line. I'm going to copy. I'm just going to paste that all the way through. So now I have the hi-hat, and I'm going to add in the bass drum and snare drum I just added. So now you see you have basically the background to the track. I have the drums right there. Quick and easy and simple. Okay, so for this track, there's a few other layers of drum sounds that I'm putting in. Let me see if I can find exactly where those are. Okay, this one is just kind of some sound effects, some mark trees and other different sound effects that are sounds that come in with the GarageBand that I added. I also added some cymbals, and I added some tom-toms. This kind of gives the track kind of a more full type of sound to it. So as you see, this video is, quickly going through how you lay down the drum track, but you can realize that it is possible to create professional sounding drums by just simply sampling somebody else's drums that they have on their tracks and just bringing them in as a sample into your sound effects track, and then you just play those with the musical typing, and then you can layer it with the different sounds that you sample, or you could layer it with different sounds that come with GarageBand. And so here now I'll slowly add in the different samples that come with the track, this track. So these samples that you're hearing are samples that I took from James Bond, Diamonds Are Forever. And if you watch my last video, you can see how I incorporated these samples into the song using the musical typing and using the sample method I showed in the last video. So there's probably about 5 or 6 different layers that I have, different samples I took from throughout the Diamonds Are Forever song, and I just basically mix and match those together, and it creates the track. And I put different effects to each sample. Some samples might have heavy reverb, some don't. Some might have a heavy echo. Some parts might be from the beginning of the track, and it's kind of just maybe 1 or 2 bars that I loop together, and then over that I loop a horn or 2 that I grab from a different part of the track, or a vocal part of the track that I brought. And then, yeah, so this is what you just come up with. And a lot of your tracks, what you're going to want to do is you're going to put an intro, so I also added the intro on. These are sounds that I also got from the samples. Here, I'll show you each, where are the samples? Can't find them. So you see, I just chopped up the song into 1,000,000 pieces like I did in the last video, and then I just came through and I just rearranged them all in all different types of ways in different places, and it just comes out with a more original piece. And here you can see the musical typing is following what I did, what I played when I played the sample, so you can see it's kind of all over the place. Okay, so I hope you got something out of this video. I hope now you get an idea of how to create a drum pattern within GarageBand, and I look forward to seeing you next time in the next video, which will be, like I said, building professional drum library.